the drama surrounding Terence Bud Crawford took a surprising turn when an old video resurfaced, showing Shakur Stevenson being walked into a fight during the COVID era with Crawford right by his side. At first glance, it seems like a simple moment between two fighters who have always respected each other. But as the footage makes its rounds online, fans and critics are stunned by one specific detail. Crawford's physical appearance in that moment looks nothing like the version of him dominating the sport today. What should have been a nostalgic clip instead becomes a catalyst for renewed debate around size, weight, and the mysterious transformation that has followed Crawford in the years since. In the clip, you see Shakur Stevenson closer to the camera, masked up, walking with confidence into the arena. Right behind him is Terence Crawford, relaxed, not cutting weight, not preparing for a fight of his own, simply supporting a young star he has mentored. But the visual difference between Crawford then and Crawford now is startling. Even if someone argues camera angle, lighting, or perspective, the reality remains the same. Crawford in that video appears significantly smaller, almost shockingly so, especially compared to the thick, muscular frame he carries today. Shakur Stevenson, standing closer to the lens, almost looks like he matches Crawford's size from that period. Whatever distance, compression, or angle someone tries to use as justification, the transformation is too obvious to be ignored. This would be less of a conversation if it weren't for the fact that other clips exist from that same era, including one where Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. exchange words at a fight in Dallas. In that footage, too, Crawford appears leaner, lighter, and far from the powerhouse physique fans associate with him now. And that's where the whispers grow louder. The question isn't whether fighters naturally change over time. It's how rapidly and dramatically Crawford's size increased, especially after 2 years mostly out of the ring. That's exactly what Errol Spence once hinted at. His old tweet suddenly feels prophetic as people watch this COVID-era footage again, because he pointed out how certain fighters can disappear for a couple of years, put on 20 pounds of pure muscle, and come back looking physically reborn. When people compare that message to Crawford's transformation, the connection becomes nearly impossible to ignore. Boxing has seen this kind of suspicion before. Manny Pacquiao's meteoric rise through weight classes raised countless eyebrows, especially after age 30. His power declined as the competition got bigger, but his size had changed so drastically that fans were left with questions about what fueled such a transformation. So when people see Crawford's old body and compare it to the sculpted powerhouse he is now, they remember past controversies. And according to many observers, Crawford's change seems even more dramatic than what other fighters experienced. Manager Marty, a name long connected to boxing's underground conversations, described Crawford's physique with a term now circulating again: enhanced. And while it isn't a claim backed by any direct evidence, it's a word that sticks because of who Crawford once worked with. Devin Haney's physique has also come under similar scrutiny. His move through weight classes, his rapid rehydration after weigh-ins, and his impressive mass gains have drawn attention. Both Haney and Crawford shared a professional connection with Victor Conte, a figure known across sports not for fighting, but for mastering the art of pushing supplements, legal boundaries, and loopholes to their absolute limit. Conte, who recently passed away, had built his reputation not only on helping athletes but on navigating anti-doping systems with uncanny precision. Some fighters who worked with him were known to put on extreme amounts of weight overnight. Devin Haney, for example, has been reported to rehydrate as much as 25 to 30 pounds between weigh-in and fight night. That kind of physiological shift isn't typical. It isn't natural. And yet, with Conte's guidance, it became a pattern. That's why this old Crawford footage feels so important. It provides a visual baseline from a time before his physical jump shocked the boxing world. A time when he appeared slimmer, leaner, and far from the beastly presence people now associate with his name. When you compare that version of Crawford with the current one, the difference is staggering. He looks like he added muscle in places most athletes don't even target. His neck looks thicker, his shoulders broader, his chest denser, and even his face seems to carry new definition. With Victor Conte now gone, fans wonder whether fighters like Crawford and Haney will continue to show the same physical resilience and mass retention in the coming years. Because no matter how many people avoided speaking on Conte during his lifetime, he shaped modern conditioning in ways that will be debated for decades. He earned a reputation as someone who could stay ahead of anti-doping lists, understand what was being tested, and what substances hadn't yet appeared on the banned list. He understood timing, clearance rates, microdosing patterns, and every loophole available. Fighters who worked with him saw physical transformations others couldn't explain. Now that he is no longer around, The question becomes whether those transformations remain as consistent. This goes beyond Crawford and Haney. Boxing history is filled with names whose bodies changed in ways fans didn't want to examine more closely. Tyson Fury, Gervonta Davis, Errol Spence, Shakur Stevenson, and countless others have been subjected to speculation. Because deep down, fans don't really want to believe their favorite fighters might have been helped by something beyond talent, training, and dedication. They want to believe greatness came honestly. They want to maintain that trust. But boxing is a business long overshadowed by gambling, backstage deals, failing oversight, and performances that defy logic. When fighters suddenly gain impossible amounts of lean muscle or shed excessive weight in record time, questions naturally follow, even if the answers never arrive. Fans often push these thoughts aside because their pride is tied to their favorite athlete. Promoters ignore them because exposés mean lost revenue. Commissions look the other way because investigations cost money and ruin relationships. That's why resurfaced footage like this hits harder than it would in any other era. We live in a time when nothing stays buried forever. Clips, images, moments from the past continue to return, offering new context with every replay. And as people study the still frames of Crawford walking behind Shakur Stevenson, they're not just comparing physiques. They're comparing eras, expectations, evolutions, and allegiances. They're asking whether this transformation is simply the natural progression of an elite fighter or part of a much larger story boxing will one day be forced to confront. Because one thing is certain. In boxing, everything eventually comes out. The truth doesn't stay buried. And as new eyes look back on old footage, the conversations grow louder, the suspicions sharpen, and the sport finds itself facing questions it can only avoid for so long. Let me know what you think about Crawford's transformation, the resurfaced footage, and the conversations surrounding Victor Conte's legacy. Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you enjoy these deep dive breakdowns, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss the next story.